In my work, I look at two markets and only two. I trade the S&P 500, in which I trade options on it, and I trade the euro. Those are the only two symbols that I have to look at. And so I spend a lot of time in the evening hours studying the euro, looking at multiple time frames. I look at the 5 minute, the 1 minute, 30 minute, 60 minute. I look at the daily charts. I look at the weekly charts. And it enables me to look at and search for significant double top patterns throughout all of them, significant double bottoms, areas of consolidation during the last week. I look at the floor pivot areas for the last week. And those areas that are most common, that is, where there's a greatest preponderance at a certain level, I note them on my chart as areas of interest. And it's those areas by these lines that what I'm showing here. And throughout the trading day, they make up the framework for how I trade. I'm looking to trade from one area to the next area. And oftentimes when I discover commentary on the internet, someone will talk about fundamental levels or technical levels in which they're looking for support and resistance. It will often coincide with these levels that I have on my screen. And so I know that there are a lot of people looking at these same levels. And I do this manually. It gives me confidence that it's not a computer generated level. I know these levels. I know the price patterns going back for the last several trading periods, practically even the last month. And so during the trading day, when we revisit these areas, they're very familiar to me. I plot them on the chart so I can remember where they are. But lots of times, I know the areas that we've turned on in terms of the trading the euro. So it's very helpful for me so that when a trading entry opportunity presents itself, I'm pretty familiar with the area where we're trading. So just looking at this chart, there is value, and what I see with this is that moving up into this area, 43.50, 51, it's not an exact area. It's just a range in which I'm going to say, okay, this is an area where we can expect some kind of resistance. Now, it's not an absolute. There are times that it'll blow right through it, but it came off of it. And so during the course of the trading day, I'll look for these balance points, these resistance areas, back down to support. I'll look for it to go up. I'll look for it to even to go through it. But it's interesting how if it fails to push much further through it, it'll often come back down and then come back to it and test it, which is a wonderful place to sell from in this instance. It will fall back and like a razor blade, it'll go through some of these areas. So these are not areas in where I can place buy and sell signals. That would be suicide. But it is the beginning framework for how I trade, because what I'll do, and I'll show you in the next video, is I'll evaluate the trend between these areas, and then in the following video after that, I'll show the actual entries that I look for. But in general, and I think you can see the value here, and this is a typical day. Sometimes it'll slice through a couple of areas of significance, that is of significant interest for me, and it will go down to the next area. In this particular case, it went through a couple, it found its support, and then it was range bound between two of these areas.